on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you.
ADR Networks presenta Las opiniones expresadas en este programa son responsabilidad exclusiva de quienes las emiten y no representan necesariamente el pensamiento o alguna posición oficial de este medio de comunicación.
ADR Networks presenta.
This is Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isa Crouch.
And this is...
Foreign Show! On the Foreign Show.
Yes, boys and girls.
Welcome to That Foreign Show here on
yes.
ADR Networks. I'm
Isaac
Celestine
Rakesh.
Angel, Isaac Rakesh, and we're here activating your senses. So, we're going to begin our first segment really quickly because I think our guest is already here.
Yes.
We're just going to talk about two things. One is that there is a Dragon Boat Festival. It's a Chinese festival.
It's happening this Saturday, Dragon Boat Festival, and it's happening in Xochimilco.
Right. So, Dragon Boat Festival is usually, I think maybe we'll be on the Trajineras. Actually, I'm not sure, but yeah, photo for reference. Oh, okay. We have photos really for reference. There's like the.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, we are going to perform there. Isaac and I, Illuminary, our project, will be performing. I'll do like a few Chinese songs before the Chinese embassy. The ambassador, I think he's going to make a speech, and the whole thing would be like the opening of the event. And we're gonna do a short set just before, and then later we'll do our main set.
So we have them being the guests of honor at this event, and yes, they're gonna say some words, right? And then we will actually begin the event. Now,
Yes.
for those of you who are unfamiliar with Xochimilco or the Trajineras, those boats, right, is actually what it's the main attraction of Xochimilco, right?
Yeah, I think most foreigners would know about it and maybe would like to visit. This is a good time because there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
It's a festival. There will be lion dance, dragon dance, us performing, of course, and like usually a Dragon Boat Festival is like you have the dragon boats racing and all that. I'm not sure exactly whether that would be the case, but definitely there's going to be a parade with the team that is organizing this event. Because
Yes.
it's actually from one of our guests. His name is Eric. He's like the president of quite a few of these Chinese associations. So he's organizing. He's part of the the organizers for this event, and yeah, it should be really fun.
If you remember, we had him on one of our previous episodes, a couple actually, and
Yeah.
we talked about his lion dance activities here in Mexico, and also the stuff that he's been doing overseas, and not to mention his links with the the kung fu martial arts schools here, the Choi Li Fat, right?
Right, and this event, as mentioned earlier, the Chinese embassy will be there, so it's also co-organized by them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the first Dragon Boat Festival in Mexico City, so yeah, it'll be interesting. So come down,
So come
join
on
us.
down, one and all, all right? Come on down, Xochimilco. You get your. It's kind of like party vibes, That's what usually happens on the boats. People you get your drinks, you get into a party vibe, and you go around the whole place. And it's just fun. So come on down.
Right. Okay, so now we jump really quickly to our next thing,
Yes.
which is the dance class, the K-pop dance class by a friend. He's really good. I mean, I know he's good in hip hop.
Yes, we have
I
seen
think
him
K-pop
live.
is pretty much like hip hop,
Yeah.
just with Korean
It is,
music.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, the moves are like kind of on the same palette and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's like hip hop.
That's what I think. So I'm interested to go because actually I don't really listen to Korean songs.
Yeah.
So basically, his classes, I just want to let you know, is Fridays in the evenings and Saturday, Sundays in the morning. So we are going this Sunday. We're going to go for his classes 1.5 hours. So his prices are like super accessible.
Yeah,
It's
very
like
reasonable. Yes.
3 classes per week at only 1,000 a month. This is like so cheap. And if you just want like a one-off class, it's 130 pesos. That's like honestly 1.5 hours, and plus he's so serious. He wants to do like his classes for making people ready to do competitions. And yeah, and like honestly, we love Alec. He's also another guest. He's like a really serious artist.
Yes. And he takes his art really seriously. And as Celestine mentioned, he's trying to. I mean, it's not just like a casual class thing that he's trying to do, right? He's trying to prepare a group of people who want to compete in dance, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like he wants people to improve and be really like proficient in dancing basically.
Yeah.
And he's also a tattoo artist, and he's he's like a really pure artist, like straight up like drawing and everything. And he's also like designs fashions, like he puts his prints, his paintings all on fabric, and basically he's an all-round artist.
All-round artist for sure. I mean, his tattoo designs are also really dope, you know. And so, if you are looking to get into dance, check him out. Check this lesson. Check this class out. K-pop.
All right, so
Yes.
today we have Win with us. And Win is he's American, but like originally from the Philippines. And yeah, we're very excited to talk to him.
And we're gonna get
So-
into life in Mexico, all right? Simplicity meeting adventure, all right? And we're gonna talk about some of these things that Mexico brings, you know, vibrant landscape, ancient ruins, natural wonders, as well as life, you know, and how these things kind of combine with living here. So we're gonna explore all of these things right about now. Hey, brother.
Hi, Win. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing?
We are great. We are great. Welcome to the show. Can you hear us nice and good?
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Where are you? You told me you're outside, and you look like you're in some kind of hut, like
Yeah.
like
I am.
like you made it yourself and you put it over you or something.
So I'm actually in Chicago visiting my niece. It's her birthday this weekend. And I'm in her like tent bed. She lives in a one bedroom with my sister, and the quietest place I could find is her tent bed things. I have like stuff here hanging out with like a bunch of her stuffed animals.
So cute. Oh my god.
So they put you outside.
Yeah. Well, outside. So in Chicago, it's cicadas. So the cicadas are out, and it's super loud.
Alright.
There's the largest group of cicadas are out right now in Chicago, and
Oh, wow.
it's way too loud outside. So
Right. We can't hear anything. So
Yeah,
that's
okay,
good.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I decided
Yeah,
to come
don't hear
here.
him.
So yeah, I'm in her bedroom right now.
Right.
So at night when it's time to sleep, you know the whole circadian rhythm thing. Are they also asleep? Those insects?
Good question.
They're less quiet, but they're still kind of loud. During the day though, it's wild how loud it is. My watch is going off. You know when your watch says it's too loud decibels. Like it was telling me that
Wow.
just being outside is too loud because of the cicadas. It's insane.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, let's just jump right in. Like,
Yeah.
can you tell us about your background? What was
Yeah.
it like growing up in a U.S. military base? I mean, okay. So let the audience know that's what he told us.
Yes.
Like he grew up in a U.S. military base in Philippines. So that's super interesting. Okay,
Please tell
can
us
you
about
tell
that.
us a bit about that?
Absolutely. So I was born in 1980 in the Philippines. I was born in Zambales, which is in the main island of Luzon in the Philippines, so about 3 or 4 hours outside of Manila. Um, my parents, my dad at the time was U.S. Navy. He joined the Navy when he was 17. So I was born a few years after he had joined. I grew up next to the base. So Subic Bay is 3 hours outside of Manila, like I said. And then my dad's hometown, which is Olongapo, San Marcelino, which is like maybe an hour west of Subic, which is the naval base in the Philippines. So Subic was taken over. If want to refresh anyone's history about the Spanish-American War. When America and Spain were in war around the 1900s, the U.S. took over the Subic from the Spaniards in 1901, 1900s, something like that, and then the U.S. stayed on that base in Subic until 1990 when they gave it back to the Philippines.
Oh wow.
So that's where I
Okay.
was. Yeah,
That's really interesting. So they occupied that thing for like all the way 90 over
for 90
years.
years. Yeah, for 90
Wow.
years the U.S. was there. Um, yeah, and and then I lived in the Philippines for about a year and a half, 2 years, until my brother was born, and then we moved to the naval base in Memphis, Tennessee. So I spent a lot of my childhood in Memphis.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, when you grew up in the U.S., uh, I mean, it definitely took you some time to like integrate yourself there as well. So, like, what was that like?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I don't remember too much in Tennessee. I was there till I was like 8 or 9. But I moved from Tennessee to Virginia Beach, which is also another big naval town, Navy town. I think it's the largest in the U.S. still, in Norfolk. Um, there, you know, I grew up American, very much so, but um, it was also didn't feel like really a part of the American conversation, right? I think when I was meeting friends and getting to getting through my childhood, a lot of the people around me, I think, especially around that time, didn't know a lot of Asians. So a lot of people thought I was Chinese. They thought I was there. They'd ask me if I knew karate, if I knew, if I knew moves, if I knew moves like Bruce Lee and things like this. And so like even though America, was the only country that I'd really known, I also felt like a little bit separate, a little bit of an outsider because nobody knew, who I was, what I was. Um, and so I think, I think growing up, I like looked to TV to like help me understand like what I was, and that's why I think I fell in love with like Bruce Lee at the time. So because there was a lot of people that, like looked like me too much outside of the base. In the base, it was very much minority, but outside of the base was totally different. So I think that struggle, I think I've always had throughout my life.
Okay.
So how did you actually like you know uh, integrate with American culture? I mean, say you use TV a
Like
lot and
finally, right? Like,
yeah,
how do you get there? Like, because obviously you are very Americanized, right?
yeah.
For sure. Um, how did I do that? Um, it was tough. I think like whenever I would see like another American or another like Filipino American or Asian American on TV, I like latched on to them, right? So, like I said, when I saw like Bruce Lee on TV, I was like, I was wearing all the Bruce Lee t-shirts. I had posters. When I saw when La Bamba came out with Lou Diamond Phillips, he's also a
Yeah.
famous Filipino American. I was like, oh, Lou Diamond Phillips is also, Filipino American. Like I had him on my wall. And I always tell my friends, yeah, he's American, he's Filipino too. And so I think I tried to find connection with the U.S. through these people that I think I could find, these celebrities that I think I could find like common ground with my friends, so they can be like, oh, Win should be accepted too because there are Filipinos on TV, even though they're usually like half Filipino, half white. But I think that's a lot of
Yeah, in
what I was
Lou's
trying to
case,
do
he
when I was
was
growing up.
yeah, like movie La Bamba, he's playing a Mexican, right? Like,
He is like a Mexican.
yeah,
Yeah, like I didn't even know that he was Filipino. I thought he was Mexican. Yeah. Wow. Like I mean, I know in general, like Filipinos, like when they are really supportive of the Filipinos that have like risen up in the U.S. Like
Sure.
the singer of Journey, I think he's half Filipino or something, right?
I think he's full Filipino actually. He's full
He's
Filipino.
full Filipino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also
that's
growing up
really
like Tia
interesting.
Carrere. Tia Carrere is also a Filipino. Like when she was growing up with Wayne's World. Remember Tia Carrere?
Oh, she's
Wayne's
Filipino
World.
too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
way back
okay,
in the
wow.
day.
So basically, I think that all Filipinos would know where all the Filipinos are, like as in.
I some reference point for the culture, right? That's really interesting. Like, see, like for us growing up in Singapore, we kind of in a way we're doing the opposite, right? Kind of like trying to find our voice. We had a lot of access to our own cultural stuff, you know. Like,
Oh, right. I know what Isaac's saying because Singapore is so new as a country. So we are so influenced by like the US and other countries. We don't seem to have our own culture.
Yeah.
But obviously we do. It's just accepting of it and understanding who we really are and that kind of thing, right? Yeah. So like on the other hand, like Singaporeans, we're like trying to find our like culture.
our voice.
Yeah, our voice.
Yeah, but back to you, and I mean, this, of course, yeah, this is before the internet and stuff, right? You know, and
Exactly.
growing up, TV was like the main thing, right? And so, yeah, so a lot of the references for people, cultural references, or who you are, who I am, is a lot of it is based on what they saw on TV, right? And
Absolutely.
that's really interesting. But you mentioned, I mean, because you grew up on a military base, so you have that as a really big part of your story. Can you tell us a bit about that and maybe how that is different, you know, say to your peers, or were your peers also kids that grew up on the base?
Um, no, a lot of my friends growing up, actually, when I was a kid, yes, since I couldn't leave, the base when I was a kid, so most of my friends were there. I think one of the things I remember is that um, when I lived on base, a lot of the families were all minorities, which was interesting. Um,
Oh,
like a good amount of them. And then one of the things I remember is also is I wasn't taught my native language. I wasn't taught Tagalog growing up, and I think I remember that it wasn't a thing. I think for a lot of minority children on base that they weren't taught their native language. I don't know if it was something that the families just decided not to do, or is something that the government, the U.S. Navy, told them not to do. I'm not sure, but like a lot of my friends on base that were from overseas, most of them did not learn their native language that I know, which was something. Um,
oh,
and then yeah, another thing, like everyone did kind of the same things. So because it was a small community on the base, even though it was large, we all knew each other. Can you hear me? Can
we
you hear
lost
me?
you for a sec, but yeah, now we,
Okay,
now we can.
I'm back. Okay. Yeah, we all did the same things, right? Like it's all the kids in the neighborhood. Like we were all together. All of our houses, I remember, um, the back of the houses all faced each other, so we all shared one playground. Like the entire neighborhood shared one
Oh,
playground.
okay.
So
Oh,
all
that
the
sounds
kids,
fun.
yeah, it was pretty interesting. So we all every kid in the neighborhood was like always in the same back. We all shared the same backyard, kind of. Um, and we were always doing the same things, like the same events, the same community things. We all went to the same grocery store because there's only one on base. We went to the same mall because there's only one on base. So we always saw each other all the time, which is very interesting. Like we hardly ever left as a child. I think I remember it from what I remember.
So, like, okay, when we were chatting, like,
Yeah,
you also mentioned that living in Mexico, like, gave this like college feel.
yeah,
We have
yeah,
a word for that in Singapore. Is like we call it kampong,
Yeah,
kampong. Like
like
basically,
village vibes.
yeah, like you feel like everyone's nearby, and then you can just hang out anytime. It's like fun, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like let's talk about like your experience in Mexico, right? Or like,
Yeah, what made
yeah.
you come to Mexico, and tell us a bit about that also.
Yeah, so during the pandemic, I adopted this more proactive way of living by learning. So I was learning while I was during the pandemic just to keep myself busy since the bubbles and everything. I learned a lot of things. I learned things that I wanted to learn but I didn't keep time for. So I learned to play the drums. So I bought a set of drums during the pandemic. I moved to Hawaii for a little bit to learn, and then I learned ukulele. And then after that,
wow.
um, when the next thing I wanted to do was learn another language because I missed that growing up. I never learned Tagalog, so I was like, I'll learn the next best thing, Spanish. So I decided, you know, should I move to Mexico City? Should I move to Medellin, or should I move to Buenos Aires? So I decided to go to Mexico City first to learn Spanish, and then eventually I was supposed to go to the other cities to check those out. But as soon as I came to Mexico City, I did like an immersive Spanish workshop. I fell in love, and I never left. So I actually never went to Medellin and Buenos Aires to check out the cities. I just ended
Oh,
up staying in
okay.
Mexico City. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and we totally get you because we also just decided to stay here. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like we feel good here. Life is like
Yeah.
a happy one. Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, and that's how you feel too, right? You feel happy, and I mean
Absolutely.
the topic of our episode is simplicity and adventure.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
But let me ask you this. You mentioned during the pandemic, you decided to kind of just like, take a moment and kind of get into stuff that you wanted to, like self-learning kind of things, right?
Correct. Yeah.
What What were you doing before the pandemic? Like, maybe you can tell us a bit about that and how, and did that change a lot? Or were you always doing this
Yeah.
kind of self-learning kind of thing? Or new for you?
Yeah. Um, I've always been curious. Especially as a technologist, I was an engineer. I'm still an engineer, but during the pandemic, I was leading a bunch of engineering teams at a startup I was at. But most of my time was spent doing that, like mostly focusing on engineering, mentoring the engineers on my team, and anything that was related to that. I was kind of focusing on learning different things on how to be a manager. I was a new engineering manager at the time, so I was learning about that stuff. As far as outside of engineering and outside of things that I could apply to work, I was not really focusing on at all, because it just kind of took over a lot of my life, especially being in the Bay Area. That's where I was before I moved to Mexico City. Like it's the Bay Area, San Francisco in general, is very much like it's like a technology hub. It's a startup hub, and I felt like if I was going to be there, I should just go all in and be a part of um, um, that world, the startup world. And so a lot of my life was that. So not really. Yeah.
right, and you mentioned to me that like because I think it like this company that you mentioned to me that you got laid off, it's
Yeah.
like a really cool concept actually because like he was working for
Masterclass,
Masterclass,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I was gonna yeah. Can you tell us a bit about that? And I mean, cause it's a really interesting company.
Yeah.
And the whole concept. I mean, when it came out, it's like wow, you get to learn stuff from
The
from
experts
the
in the
experts, from
fields,
the
yeah.
people who are really doing it. And can you tell us a bit about that? And also, I just want to ask you a bit about the culture in San Francisco. About why or how is it like in your opinion, right? Like, cause a lot of tech companies are kind of based there and stuff. Like, what is it? Is it something in the water that
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
is it that's kind of like inspiring companies to learn from each other or something?
In the water.
Yeah. 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 Something in the water. Um, so uh, I started masterclass in 2017, around there, and then got laid off in 2021. So I've been at the company for 5 years, and I started when the company was pretty small, maybe around 20, 30 people, but no more than that. So I'd helped build a lot of the engineering team, and at the time, I think, especially from like 2008 all the way up until 2020, 2021, I think I felt, and I think a lot of engineers, especially in the Bay Area, felt we were almost invincible. We were like, we can get any job we want, and blah blah blah. We're on top of the world. But then when I got laid off in 2021, and like a lot of my other friends were as well, we were like, holy crap, holy shit! Like, can I cuss in this? Oh, sorry,
Yeah, no problem.
but holy,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, I spent 5 years like building this thing, building this team, building these products, and all of a sudden I don't have that anymore, and it wasn't up to me. So I was like, sh- should I be focusing on this? Like all my energy on this thing that can be taken away at any time? Oh,
Sorry, can you
hello.
repeat your last sentence that kind of got cut?
Yeah. Sorry, should I take these off, or should I use my
I think we're
laptop
good. If it
instead?
happens again, maybe we change. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, after I got laid off, and I think a lot of my friends got laid off, I think a lot of us were like, okay, it's ending. Like we're no longer invincible as engineers, and maybe there's other things we need to focus on, right? Maybe just focusing all your energy on the job is not the best thing for you. And that's when I made the realization, like, I should focus on what I actually want to do with my life, what I want to be, like who I want to be outside of technology, who I want to be outside of making money for another company. And I think that's when I was like, I want to learn a bunch of things. That's who I've been, and that's what I forgot when I was spending a lot of time on the work.
Right. I mean, I also like, I mean, when you told me about the tech industry, things are changing. That was the first time I heard about it. And then yesterday I
Mm.
was talking to this girl, and her boyfriend is also in tech, and he's very worried about not being able to get like a job. And specifically, he wanted a remote one.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, like what is going on with the tech industry? Like, could you just tell us a little
Especially right
bit
now. I
since you're
mean,
in
like
it? Yeah.
right, like we hear there's a lot of layoffs being happen. I mean, layoffs. A lot of companies are shutting down or something like that. Right?
I don't think the companies are shutting down. I think the companies are now realizing that um, they're also not immune to the changes of the world. I think before, I think this is what I've done a little bit of research, but not too much. That investors, stakeholders cared a lot about mostly about growth. So as long as companies were growing in numbers, they're making the revenue. That's what people cared about back then. And I think now the sentiment is changing where investors and shareholders want to see profits, right? And I think the easiest way for a lot of companies, this is my feeling anyway, the easiest way for companies to do that is to lay off people, is to cut costs, because um, during the pandemic, especially, a lot of companies were flush with cash, so they were just hiring a bunch of people. Hiring went through the roof. My company, and specifically, we went from 200 people to 700 during the pandemic, which is insane
Wow.
growth in a year and a half. And so, like, it made sense, if you want to cut costs, like, get rid of the people. And I think that's what's happening right now.
Okay,
Right.
so the companies are more like they kind of changing the way that they were doing things in a way, right?
Yeah,
Right.
and then a
During the
lot of
pandemic, so during
good.
the pandemic, they started to hire more people.
Yeah, yeah, a ton of people,
Okay.
because people are at home. They didn't know what to do, so they were spending their money on, like, online things, right? And most of tech is online based. Um, and then when it comes to laying off, and when it comes to tech in general, like, companies, I feel like, are a lot. They don't like taking the lead. They like following. So if companies like Google, Meta, whatever, are laying off people, they're like, okay, it's okay for us to lay off people now, so we'll do the same thing, right?
So, but this laying off of people. I mean, has it got anything to do with AI or?
I think some of it. I think some of it. I'm not gonna say a lot of it is that, but I think there
Okay.
are there are I think there are some numbers that point to the oncoming um, domination of AI. But I think we're really not going to see that for like maybe a couple more years. Um,
Yeah, makes
yeah.
sense. So, so basically, like with all the changes, you decided to, like to change your lifestyle and see what you really would like to do and what makes you happy. And so that's why you decided to come to Mexico as well. And now you are living a more simple lifestyle. Can we
Hmm.
talk about that? And
Yeah.
yeah, how has living here helped you to embrace that?
Well, for one, I don't have like a a stable job yet, so that simplifies a lot of my life, since I don't work a normal, like, 9 to 5. Right now, I'm
Oh,
kind of
okay.
taking yeah. Right now, I'm a freelancer, so I take on gigs whenever they come. As an engineer, before this, I was, like I said, I was an engineering manager, but I was an engineer for a long time. But these days, I'm just taking on interesting projects and working on them whenever I can, and then when they're done, and then I look on for the next thing. So that's one thing. The second is, like, I have a lot more time to do things like I was before learning. So I started learning salsa bachata um, when I came to Mexico City. I do less of that now, but I'm trying to get back into it. I do a lot more sitting on my patio and just drinking coffee and watching the hummingbirds on my tree. I do a lot of that for some reason.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, so much so that I put a tattoo of a
A
colibri, like a
Oh.
hummingbird.
hummingbird, on my arm because
Yeah, it inspires you. So, right?
100%. And it's taught me to just take life a little bit slower, take life a little less seriously, and focus more on the things that the focus more on the way that I want to live around my work. So sorry, put work around the way that I live. So right now
Right.
I put that as first, like how I want to live first,
Wow.
and then I find the work that fits around that. So that's kind of like a total like 180 on how I lived before, where it was like, let me find the job first, and then let me see where my life
Yes.
can fit, right?
That's
Yes.
beautiful,
So
Wow.
man.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So in a sense, it's not really taking life less seriously, right? It's more of like what you deem serious is kind of changing, right? In a
exactly,
way.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And so because of that, you do feel your like that your happiness level rising, right? Like you're putting yourself first, and yeah, and like it's so funny that Mexico is a big city,
Hmm.
but people here are really and it's fast paced, but like people here are really focused on being present.
Yeah.
It's not like the 5 year, 10 year plan thing like that every other country is so
Yeah. Yeah.
ambitiously going for. Like here, you can go for your goals, but also focus on you,
Focus
right?
on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about that? I mean, about the stuff that you do, like, and also about like maybe in your own words, like, do you actually feel happier? You know, like
Yeah,
with this new. Yeah.
absolutely. I feel a lot less. I didn't know how stressed I was until that changed here in Mexico City. Like how much just being able to wake up without an alarm clock, like felt how good that felt. Um, and yeah, because there are less responsibilities for me here in Mexico City, I have to worry about a lot less. And I think that has to do with the fact that, you know, for better or for worse, I'm not really, there's not a lot keeping me rooted in Mexico City. Like in the US where I have a lot of family, a lot of old friends, I have like, taxes I pay there. Mexico City is almost like was a blank canvas when I moved here because I can kind of build the life that I wanted. And so a lot of the things that I didn't want in my life, I kind of just, you know, didn't didn't pursue, right? Like um and and so I had to like it's almost like when you lose your phone and you get a new phone and you have to like
Uh-huh.
reinstall all the apps. Like when I moved to Mexico City, it was like getting a new phone and being like, okay, these are the things that I don't want in my life anymore, like the types of friends and the types of experiences.
Mm.
I don't need that in my life anymore, so I'm just not going to do them because I don't. There's nothing pulling me to do them. So I could start all over again, and I think that helped simplify a lot.
Well, that's a great analogy, no?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you're starting from scratch,
Yeah.
so it's
yeah,
like you're Marie Kondoing all
yeah,
your
Your
stuff.
life.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bet there must be some things or some apps, that you didn't know you
The tech guy.
you could do without, right?
Exactly. And plus, when I
And
first moved here, I was moving a bunch. I was moving every month to a different part of the city, so I couldn't have a lot of stuff. I came here with only one suitcase, so like that had to I had to use that one suitcase for at least 6 months here when I was moving around a bunch, trying to find out where in the city I wanted to live. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of the like the whole lifestyle change. You minimalize your entire life into one suitcase and
Uh,
manage around it, and your mind is more relaxed, and
yes,
you don't
and
have to. Yeah.
also brings to mind. Let me ask you this: like, do you find
mhm.
this simplicity or this process is kind of make you a better engineer, or when you do your projects or when you are working,
Mhm.
how's that different for you?
Does it make me a better engineer? I guess so. Um, because I have less things to worry about, like it allows me the time to focus on things. So like, because I'm not pulled in so many different directions with so many different friends. Like I have a small group of friends, but tight group of friends in Mexico City. I don't have like the built-in huge network that I had in the Bay Area because I was living there for 14 years and I was, trying to do everything there. I had all these friends that I had to say no to, or like I felt bad saying no to because, I was getting invited to all these things. But here in Mexico City, like I don't have that. Like I kept my circle very small so that like I almost have to like force myself to go out and meet them because um, I can decide what to do with my time. Where I felt like my time was the one ruling me when I was
Right.
in
Oh,
San Francisco.
I can't hear him again.
Right.
You can?
Should I?
Okay. Yeah. Can you say something? You cut
Yeah, can you hear
out
me?
and back in again.
Yeah.
Can
Yes.
I?
I don't know what keeps happening. Yeah.
You
Should I
want to
take this
switch
off?
your?
I
Yeah.
can.
Why
I
don't
can
why don't you
just
try that?
use my.
Yes. Can you hear us? I think your mic is muted.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
this better?
Okay.
Okay. Yes,
Yes,
that's
it's
better.
fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Did
wow,
I?
yeah, really cool. I mean, like these topics are really near and dear to us. It's almost being in touch more with yourself.
Yeah.
I was going to use the word spirituality, but
Mhm.
that's we don't even need to take it that far. It's just kind of just like getting to know yourself again, right? Like
Yeah.
and putting yourself first, and then building whatever else is important to you around that,
Right.
right?
Yeah, and then okay, on that one suitcase thing, like it made me think also like of what you said. Like in Mexico, it's just so easy to, so accessible to just like go somewhere where you can see ancient places like ruins and like, I mean, in the U.S. all of these, I mean, the U.S. is huge, right? But like you don't really get these kind of experiences, correct?
Yeah. I mean, what I love about the Mexican culture is that um, they really care about and emphasize their background and where they came from as a people. Like if we were to do that as Americans, it's a lot harder because
Preserve.
we kind of obliterated a lot of it when we came to the Americas. Um, can you hear me? I think you guys are okay. Um, and but
Oh no,
Mexico
you
City
it
was
was
Was lagging or
laggy.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in Mexico City, and Mexico in general, I feel like they celebrate their background. They celebrate like the history. Like one of the things I want to do is I want to visit more Pueblo Maicos. Those cities around Mexico that were deemed like culturally significant
magic
in their
towns.
eyes.
Okay.
Yeah. I visited a few of them. I've gone, I think probably 10 or 12 of them, but there's 177 of them. And they're all like celebrated for being like a representative of Mexico's culture and their history and the people. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that is really amazing. Yeah, those small kind of towns. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
and then there's like the cenotes, and then
Yeah.
like places like Tolang. How do you? Tolang
Tolantongo.
Tonga
Tolantongo.
Tongo,
Yeah.
Tolang
Yeah,
Tongo.
yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, it's just so cool, right? Like, to be completely in like natural surroundings and
Yeah, and
yeah,
also the accessibility. I mean, you can just do that and come back. Like over the weekend, come back
yeah,
into the
so
city.
easy, so cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
Yeah, and you
really
can do
cool.
those things in the U.S. too, like see the natural wonders of the U.S. as well. But I feel like here in Mexico, for some reason, it's a lot more accessible. It feels a lot more
Yeah,
accessible, and like you can take a bus from Mexico City to a lot of those places for under $20 US, and that's not possible in the U.S. for sure.
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah, like you said, you can do it in the U.S., but it's kind of a feeling thing here, and
Yeah,
somehow, right? It just feels more like integrated, right,
yeah,
with life here.
absolutely.
Can
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like cheap enough because like even the locals want to do it, and then they definitely don't want to spend a lot. And yeah, I mean, of course, if you get those package tours for like foreigners, then
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to be like a
Yeah,
lot more expensive. Yeah.
yeah.
for sure.
But it's totally doable to go by yourself and just explore. And yeah,
So what else do
Absolutely.
you do here, like, or that you like to do?
in terms of
Yeah,
adventure.
Yeah, in terms of adventure or
adventure.
just daily life.
Yeah, most of my adventure in Mexico City is mostly walking. I do a lot of walking. I do what I call my Sunday walkabout, where every Sunday around like lunchtime, I just go off and explore, get lost, and walk and get my 10,000 steps in, and then
Right.
try and explore new places. Sometimes I'll invite friends with me, but most of the time I'm by myself, just walking around. Um, Other than that, like I have a park next to me, Parque Mexico, which is like 3 blocks from my house in Condesa, and I go there a lot just to
Right.
see what's happening. That's where I started doing bachata when I first moved to Mexico City 3 years ago, and I
Okay.
walk there all the time just to see what's happening. It's a good place to see um, all the new trends in Condesa and where I'm living, because there's a lot of people doing different things there. They're doing like outdoor workouts, they're doing boxing, they're doing gym things, they're doing other types of
Yeah.
dances. I learned about a new dance called Zouk when I was in Parque Mexico, which was awesome. Um, yeah, and because of that park, like I feel like I'm a part of the community, and I really like that. I was definitely didn't have that kind of feeling in the 14 years I lived in San Francisco. That feeling of community, feeling like I'm a part of a bigger part of the city.
And but like do you spoke Spanish? I mean, like, do you speak Spanish to like the locals here, or do you just like
Oh no, no, no.
like
Not
us lazy?
Yeah. No, I speak Spanish too. When I try as much as possible to speak Spanish when I leave the house. I learned, like I said, I moved to
Okay.
Mexico City to learn Spanish, and
Right.
yeah, even to this day, I speak at least 2 hours of Spanish to my maestra, my instructor online. We speak
Okay.
at least 1 hour every week, and then when I leave the house,
Oh.
I try and
Hmm.
speak as much Spanish as possible. So yeah, that's definitely a part, and the reason why I moved to Mexico City. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. Like, yeah, we need to work harder.
Yeah, we need to step out of Spanish for sure.
Yeah.
We
So
were doing
like,
that kind of a thing also with one of our guests also. Doing having a scheduled kind of
yeah,
weekly thing.
he was teaching us
Yeah,
like, yeah.
online. Yeah.
So yeah, we only have a few minutes left,
Mm.
when and this show, this podcast is like at the center of it is about like personal growth. So like we would really like to know, how do you feel that like living here in Mexico has contributed to your self growth, and yeah.
Um, so one big thing I think I noticed after living in Mexico City is that I was very dependent on Amazon for some reason. Like I saw how much smaller my monthly credit card bill was because I wasn't buying stuff on Amazon anymore. And I think that has contributed a lot to my simplicity because I'm just not buying things. I feel like I don't need as many things as I used to. Like there's no Target. The Walmart in Mexico City is not the Walmart that you find in the U.S., right? The Walmart is just a small grocery store in Mexico City. There's no
Right.
like huge
Yeah.
Asian market. There's not a lot of things that's easy to find in the U.S. And so because of that, I'm forced to just um, live differently and work around those things. And I find that just very freeing. Um, so yeah, I think how it's made my life better is that I allow myself to take a step back. I can reflect more easily when there's less things that are clouding my to-do list, and I
Mm.
can think more intentionally about my day, which is awesome. And I think that has led me to live a simpler life.
Right.
My sisters lived in Chicago for a long time, 10 years, more than that. And I living in San Francisco, I'd never visited her. I'd not even. I think once. I think one time I visited her. Since Mexico City, like I
Oh
want to
wow.
come here all
Okay.
the time because I feel like why not? Like I'm not really doing that much in Mexico City, so I'm just gonna come, visit my sister all the time, and that's
Yeah,
and
how nice that you're
yeah,
there with your
yeah, and
niece. Like, send our regards. Yeah.
Yes.
thank you, yeah, and I felt like my world and my calendar was always so filled, and now it's not so much.
And
Yeah.
somehow you feel like you're doing more. I mean, that's the
Oh,
sense that I get.
absolutely. 100% I'm doing. I
Right.
feel like I'm doing more. I'm yeah, I'm more filled, more fulfilled with the things that I do because they are intentional things.
Yeah, exactly. Intentional things.
Yes.
So
You're not just being swept into doing it, you're kind of deciding.
yeah, it's not compulsive. Yeah. So do you have like final words for like other foreigners in Mexico that are watching?
Yeah. Um, I would say, live a conscious, like intentional life living in Mexico, right? It's not a, I think it should be respected, for the culture, the people, the language. I think it's important to at least try to speak the language as much as you can. And for people that are thinking about living abroad, I would say, there is no reason not to. It's always a good thing to understand something differently, understand a different culture, a language, a way of living. And there are very few decisions that you can't undo. So if it's not something for you, you can always go back. So I think living abroad, living a different culture and living and knowing different people is an amazing gift. And I think we should all take advantage of that.
Nice.
Okay, thank you so much, Vin. Like we really enjoyed
Yes.
like this conversation. I think you're a really cool dude. And so I'm Celestine Angel.
I'm Isaac Rakesh. It was a real pleasure talking to you, and yeah, the stuff all the points that you talk about, just if there was more time, like, or maybe sometime in the future, and get you back on for the next season, and maybe we can talk a bit more about your growths and stuff. But yes, these things are really inspiring for us over here on that forum show. Well, I'm Isaac Rakesh
And we are here on ADR
with
Networks,
Wayne signing out.
exciting out,
Peace.
activating your
Catch you
senses.
soon.
The
Thank you to all who joined us here on That Foreign Show. It's been awesome. I'm Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Show.